Hey, welcome back,
Viewers,
listeners.
those who listen to podcasts. This is yours truly with Asia and I,
Lucy and Asia.
Luci. I wanted to start by just saying I want to get a poll together.
Yeah.
So I went to Asia's yesterday.
Oh my god.
Asia does not own
known you were gonna
a
make
rubber spatula.
silicone.
A silicone. It's the same.
Well, you said rubber, and I was like, "What do you mean?"
They're called rubber spatulas. She doesn't own a rubber spatula. She only owns wooden spoons and
I
like
got
hard
torn
plastic
apart for
spatulas.
this. I have plenty of spoons.
I think that's
and
weird.
spatulas. I've never once been like, "Oh, you know what I need right now? A rubber spatula."
That's.
But I got ripped apart last night. They're like, "How do you do this? How do you cook eggs? How do you make brownies?" I'm like, the other utensils.
No, that's weird.
A spatula, regular spatula.
So I would love for people to write in and tell us if that is weird, because I think it's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Well,
I quite literally never have used a wooden spoon besides one recipe. I hate the way wood feels in my hand when I'm stirring.
I think I got wood initially when I moved out alone because it like aesthetically, I was like, oh, it's cute. And I just like don't go shopping for kitchen utensils. A, because I don't really cook, and B, I just make do with what I got.
It's wild.
But yeah, I was lit up last night for not having a silicone spatula.
As you should be. Please continue to attack Asia in the comments for not having this rubber spatula.
I've been fine without it thus far.
I'm going to buy her a set, though, for Christmas.
Yeah, I think everyone and their brother's going to get me.
Maybe. Then you can have a lot.
Then I can have a lot. Yeah. I should update some of the kitchen utensils I have.
I think you should.
But I just I make do with what I have, and I'm like, this is it. This is what I got.
That's fair. Alrighty. So moving into our weekly report.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things to report on.
It's been a few weeks off, so.
It has been a few weeks off. Now we're back at it. Mm-hmm. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first? Okay, cool.
I feel like you're ready.
I am ready. I feel like it was a good one.
Yeah.
So rewatching what I've rewatched in the last week, When Harry Met Sally. I think one of my favorite movies of all time.
That's good.
I can rewatch that movie over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I think I watch it 2 or 3 times a year because it's just my favorite little movie, rom-com. Mm-hmm. I think it's in my top 5 favorite movies ever. Whoa. So I rewatched that this last week because it's fall now. So obviously I have to rewatch it. Mm-hmm. Sally in that movie is like my fashion inspo every year for the fall. That's super fair. Loved it. Eating. So on Sunday we did like a fun little fall night. And Asia's sister-in-law makes the best soup ever. I dream about this soup all year.
The soup is so good.
Gnocchi bacon soup, and it is so good.
And then you've made it.
I have made it. She made it from, I think, 2 years ago, and I was like, this is so good. I begged my mom for Christmas Day to make this soup. And so me and my mother made it, but it's delicious. Love that soup. I think it's from some Instagram food person.
Yeah.
So
was it just as good when you made it?
Kirsten did make it better. I made it. My mom didn't make it, and I chopped the carrots too small, and I put, I think, twice the amount of carrots that you're supposed to put in. So there was just a lot of carrots in our soup.
Yeah.
That was the complaint I got. Or
Lucy, there's too many carrots in this.
Everyone was like, man, this is a lot of carrots. And I was like, yeah, that's on me. So last week was my concert week, basically, of the year. I had 3 concerts, 3 nights in a row last week, and my voice is paying the price. And so I'm on vocal rest besides this. No, I'm just
not
kidding.
Speaking.
I'm not speaking to anybody. Anyone. No. But I had the band Camino last Tuesday, and I love the band Camino. This is my 3rd time seeing them. Whoa. Just been a long time fan. And so they were amazing. They played back to December after I screamed it in the pit. And so you're welcome, Phoenix crowd. That was all
That was
me.
you.
That was all me.
Were you the only one screaming?
Yeah. It was like silence. And then I just screamed it.
Have they done that before?
Yeah. So
okay. I was like, you just like wanted that
He
song.
covers like Back to December.
Oh, okay.
And then there's like a bit during the show where they're like, what do you guys like want to hear? And they have like a few on rotation of their actual songs. But I've seen on TikTok that they've actually done Back to December a couple times on the tour. And so it was like silence. And I just screamed it.
They're like,
and then they did it. And then I had my phone in like that. I think it's cringe. But I typed out Back to December and was like holding it up. Yeah. And I was like, this is so embarrassing. But it was effective. So, and then the next day I went to the Aces. I went with Asia. Yeah. And so I'm a big Aces fan. If you haven't listened to them, highly recommend.
Yes.
It's a fun little girl band from Utah. They're amazing performers. Yeah. So loved them again. And then the third concert in a row was Maisie Peters. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy because her tour bus never showed up. Yeah. So her and the band just didn't have any of their equipment, any of their stage set up. Yeah. And so it was like a very low-key concert, which for me, I kind of think it was good just because it was day 3 of shows and like, I was like depleting. My energy was going fast and she was hilarious.
Yeah, it was very like personable. Like I appreciated it. She like talked with the crowd a lot, like talked in between every single song, and it felt like she was just like playing for her friends. Yeah. So I just think me and her would be friends in real life. Yeah, she's so funny. She is hilarious.
And I feel like she believes in bits. And so I love her because I love a good bit. I'll do anything for a good bit. Yeah. And so she was really, really funny.
She was funny.
And I loved her. And so that was my playing. My obsessed. So the girl who opened for Maisie Peters was Grace Anger. Yeah. It auto-corrected on my phone. And I have not stopped listening to her EP in the last week. Like, it's 7 songs.
It was good, yeah.
I've just listened to the 7 songs on repeat for, like, the last 3 days. Yeah. And I cannot stop listening to it. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that EP.
She was cute, too.
She was very cute. Yeah. She was precious. Yeah, she was just, like, she was on her little acoustic.
With the guitar, yeah.
And so she was amazing. And then we also had Carol Aids open for the Aces.
Really good openers.
She was amazing, too.
Yeah, they were both really good openers.
I had great openers all week last week. So, but I cannot stop listening to Grace Anger now. Mm-hmm. And I highly, highly recommend that. Or I'm obsessed with that. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Oh. I went out of order.
Messing up our own thing.
That's my obsessed. What I'm recommending is Love is Blind.
Oh my God, that's mine too.
I know. Season 5. Yeah. It's an absolute dumpster fire.
It is.
And we're going to talk more about it because
it's
really relevant in this
I've
day
been thinking
and age.
about it constantly.
The show it scratches such an itch in my brain. Such a specific itch that nothing else can even come close. So highly recommend Love is Blind Season 5. Treating Myself, my guy Noah Kahan is going on tour, so I did in fact buy a little ticket to his show next summer. So,
and where is it at?
It is in San Diego, but me and one of my really good friends are going, and she lives out there. So like we don't even have to pay for a place to stay.
That's nice. It's not that far.
I mean, yeah. I'll just maybe hop on like a little $50 flight there.
Oh, and then you're going to fly?
I think so, because she's already going to be out there.
Oh, so you have
and
to
I don't want to drive alone. That's so sad.
I love doing that.
I do too, but I don't know, 5 hours?
That's nothing.
I don't think I've ever done a road trip that long by myself.
Oh, man. I did that so many times in college.
See, I just flew home in college. Yeah. Because it was like a 15-hour car ride.
No, that's another level. But the 5-6 hour thing, it's fun. It's so much time to yourself.
That is a lot of time to myself. I think I'd fall asleep, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe not.
Not like a bad habit of falling asleep at the wheel, but I think I would fall asleep pretty easily.
What?
Whenever we go on road trips and I'm like taking a turn driving, I'm like, look, somebody's got to take over. I'm falling asleep.
Oh my gosh, no.
Like I'm not someone that's just.
I can't sleep in the car.
See, if it's really bright too, I'm just like, and then I'm like, I'm pulling over. I'm pulling over. Somebody has to switch me.
I will be driving if we do a road trip.
I mean, I can drive to do road trips, but after there's just some parts.
That's why you have to have you gotta have the AC at the right time. You gotta have a snack or a drink, and then something intriguing that you're listening to.
Yeah.
So that's when I really got into podcasts, is when I did those drives, because it was intriguing.
Yeah,
or I would listen to The Office. That was a really good one. The time would just fly by.
That's nice.
Because I already had the mental visuals in my head just from memory, so I just was listening to the episodes.
Okay, maybe I'll think more about it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a cheap flight, go for the flight. But if they're expensive, 100% drive.
Okay, thank you for your wise wisdom.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Your turn.
Okay. I'm not really I feel like my reading or rewatching is not anything. It's the same. I'm stuck. I'm still on the second.
Yeah.
Still on the second book. My problem with reading lately is I'm getting so I read one chapter and I'm
dozing
off. Done. And I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm not powering through, which is fun. I
just don't want to read.
So I'm so slow. The book is good. The book is very good. The second Court of whatever.
I don't know. I haven't read it.
It's good. I really do like it, but it's taking me so long to read it because I am getting so tired. And then I'm still watching. I am almost caught up.
Vanderpump?
With Vanderpump. I know obviously everything, but I went back and rewatched. Gosh. So I'm on season 10, just about when everything hits the fan. And it's just, I just was telling Lucy the other day, if I could have been watching this in real time and what goes down, that is the best reality. It's a little different since I know everything.
Yeah, because I forced you to watch the end before you started.
But even then, show. Everybody in culture basically knows what happened. So there's no way around it. But if you were watching that in real time, figuring this out, I would give
that would be crazy.
Many things to have that. But yeah, it's getting really good. So I'm almost, and then the new season's coming. When is that gonna drop?
I don't know. It kind of changes. It looks like every year. I want to say maybe winter.
Okay.
I would think maybe November or December.
So not that much, because they did wrap. So it's just a matter of
or January.
So that'll be exciting.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that. But yeah, it's nothing really new going on there because I'm wrapped up in those two things.
Yeah.
Eating. Also, when we had this little fall, welcoming the fall. My family loves fall. I'm just really leaning into the I'm so excited. Fall. I feel more than any other year. I'm it's October. The weather's cooling down a little bit. I'm just so excited.
I'm
eating it up. So we had this little fall get together with my family, and my sister-in-law we are hyping her
She
up.
does not miss.
She does not miss. She's a great cook. She made this soup, but she also has these. They're usually Christmas cookies. They're usually only exclusively for Christmas Eve. She made these. She has these sugar cookies with a glaze.
Yeah.
And she made them. And I walked in the door. That's the first thing I ate. I said, I'm eating one of these now. They're so good. I would buy those cookies.
Yeah.
In a store. They're the best. Not crunchy, but not so.
They're really, really good.
Gosh, they're so good. So
and she made the best bread.
Yeah, she made homemade bread for the soup. It's good. It's the beer bread. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Also, it's hot tea season. I started having hot tea.
I've been on a hot tea grind lately, and I think it's because to be completely transparent, I'm really low on funds right now. So I'm trying to put off grocery shopping.
Tea is so cheap.
And I have the largest tea collection ever, and I just never drink it.
Yeah.
But I'm avoiding buying my sparkling water or anything fun. So now in the afternoon when I'm working from home, I need a fun little bevy.
Yeah.
And I'm I guess it's hot tea.
My problem is if I worked from home, I would do that. But I'm at work, so I'm I also am a bevy girl. I have to have a beverage, and so I've been going down to the cafeteria and getting sodas and Celsius and stuff. But at night times when I turn my AC way down, I'm like, it's cold. But yeah, that's another thing. Playing, I also have the concerts because I went to 2 concerts. That's a lot for me. I think I go to 1 or 2 concerts in a year span.
Yeah.
So 2 in a row, it was great. It was great. I wasn't very familiar with the Aces, and so now I'm obsessed with them. They are incredible. They are so good. The concert was so good. They put on a great show. I didn't even know all the songs, and I was like vibing. Mm-hmm. So now I've been listening to them pretty much nonstop. They are fabulous ladies. So thank you so much for that recommendation.
You're
and
welcome.
Then I went to Maisie as well. And it was so cute. And I was like initially like, oh no, am I going to be bummed that the concert's going to be like pretty low key? But because it was so personable, I was like, that was good. And she did some like songs that she doesn't normally do. Yeah.
Which she also felt really bad. So
she did, yeah.
That made it nice.
But it was a great concert. She's so cute.
She's so funny.
My obsessed with is okay. My niece is playing. She's in a soccer league.
Oh.
And she's had I think 3 games, and I live for that. I would die for that team. I love them so much. They're like 3 and 4-year-olds. Their team name is the Princesses. It's like so chaotic, but I am there. There is one star of the team, she scores all the goals, and it is not my niece. But I'll tell you, my niece is the party. She's the star of the show. She gets fueled by like the crowd. Like she'll run by the crowd with like her hand up. So I've been
not even looking at the ball. She's just like like waving to the crowd as she runs.
Ball, the action's happening on the other side of the field, and she's over here. She's like, yeah. She's so cute. But I've been waiting. Like my brother and I played soccer growing up, so we're big soccer fans. So I've been waiting for this moment for so long to be able to go and watch.
So cute.
And so I've been showing up every week to watch her, and I'm like, I just look forward. Now I won't be able to make the next few games, which is a big bummer, but
that sucks.
It's been really fun. She's the best. My recommending is also Love is Blind, because I have been thinking of nothing else pretty much. That show, I keep saying, if I were to go on any dating show, I think it would be that one. However, I feel like the people on that show are like the most real. Yeah. Than like The Bachelor or what's the one that they do in Europe too?
Oh, Love Island.
Love Island. I wouldn't make it on that show. Are you kidding me? I think I could make it on Love is Blind. However, I think it would physically, emotionally, mentally destroy me.
It would end me.
I would be in the grave if I met someone, like we met in person and they were like, no. I would be like, I would be done.
No one would see my face again.
That would be devastating. So I don't know if I actually ever could. But yeah. I'm watching it and I'm constantly just putting myself in this situation. Like, what would I do? What would my experience be like? But it has me on the edge of my seat. I'm just like, it's crazy. Yeah.
I think my favorite bit is it's almost the same every time. Yeah. Where it's like they're both at the end of these like long hall like walkways and the doors open and they have to do like this awkward little jaunt to one another. And it's like,
do you run? Do you
It's
walk?
Like we're all getting such secondhand embarrassment. And then they do like the most awkward hug and kiss you've ever seen. It's like they're like middle schoolers. Yeah. And then I always love it too because it cuts to their talking heads. Yeah. And they're like, they aren't really what I would normally go for in the real world. And I'm like,
I think classic. I would have such a hard. I would absolutely have to watch it back and see what they said, but
I don't know if I could.
There's no way I couldn't.
If we said yes at the wedding day, I think I would almost be like, we're making a pact right now. We can't watch this together.
But I would just lay in bed at night.
You're right. I'd end up watching it.
I would have to, but I would like hate watching it because of like, I don't know. There's just, it's weird, but it's entertaining, and I'm constantly just putting myself. Yeah. I feel like I feel like I know kind of what my experience would be like, and I don't love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they come to Phoenix, maybe I'll apply, but probably not. And my treating, I think I mentioned it. We didn't really do a full weekly report, but I did on my birthday. I bought those UGG slippers. I think I think my fall uniform is gonna be like a sweatshirt, shorts maybe, and this. Like I think I'm just gonna constantly. Like, it was a great decision. I got confirmation that they were a great decision, and I wish I would have bought them last year.
Bummer.
But that's okay.
That's all right.
So
you have them this year.
I have them this year.
And you got them right at the beginning of the season, so you'll get the whole...
Yeah, it is a little hot to be wearing them, but who cares?
That's fine.
So that's it. That's
nice.
That's my treating. That's my full weekly report.
Weekly report?
Yeah.
Check
it off.
So we want to talk more about Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Because there's a character because I am convinced he's not real because he's the worst. There's somebody on the show named Uche.
Yeah.
And I just think he gaslights so beyond a ton in that show. And me and Asia were both kind of like, we should talk about gaslighting on this episode because a lot of people may not know what it is.
Sometimes I don't know.
I know my mom listening does not know what it is. So... I was telling
her before, I feel like my grasp on it goes in and out. Like, sometimes I'm like, I totally was just gaslit, and I know that. And then sometimes I'm like, do I know what it is? So
it's like classic. Am I dramatic or am I being gaslit? Actually, am I dramatic? So I looked up the definition so we could share it. So gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation in which the person attempts to sow self-doubt and confusion in their victim's mind.
Victim.
I know,
victim's
a strong word. It doesn't have to be that serious. It can be that serious.
Yeah.
But it's not always.
There's quite a range.
Yeah, there's a big range of gaslighting,
can be pretty
I would say.
Intense or pretty mild.
Yeah, because we also we came up with some examples of movies that gaslight. And these, I would say, extreme versions of gaslighting.
Extreme cases.
The most extreme cases you could think of. So we have Don't Worry, Darling.
Yeah.
Because Harry Styles basically gaslights Florence Pugh the whole time into thinking she's nuts for thinking this is weird. When in reality... He actually had her like strapped to a bed and put her in an alternate universe.
So weird.
I would say that's an extreme form of gaslighting. She was not being dramatic. She was in fact
like
being
I feel like there's a lot of movies too where like it's like you get checked into the insane asylum and they make you think like you're crazy, but you're not.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Get Out's another example.
Yes.
They were like you're fine. And then actually they were, I don't even remember how that movie ends. They were like going to kill him, right? Or make him
it was something about like using, oh God. Hypnosis to like put someone else's like switch brains kind of, I think.
And they were like, oh, you're crazy. Like, we're such a normal family. But no, they weren't.
No, they were definitely not.
And then another good example is The Truman Show.
Yeah.
They were all like, Truman, this is your life. And when in reality, he actually was living in a bubble.
Truman, this is reality.
This is your reality.
Thinking? Yeah.
So all three major examples of gaslighting, maybe not as relatable.
Maybe we're not experiencing these in our daily lives.
And if you are, call help.
So sorry.
If you are, you should not be listening to this podcast.
No.
You should be talking to the police. So, any of those three extreme scenarios.
If they hit home for you, let someone know.
Yeah. And so, but in Love is Blind, I think we see a much more realistic version of what we probably all experience in gaslighting. And it's Uche, because he's like, I think the one that I can think of is he's like, have you ever cheated in a relationship? And she was like, yeah. And he's like, well, what's to stop you from doing that again? Or he's like, how can I trust anything you're going to say? Yeah. When in reality, he was cheating.
Being shady.
Yeah. And I'm like, so she's not crazy. Like, that's a bad example. I personally think I wish I didn't say that. Now I'm trying to think of what else he says. I think there's a better
like,
one.
something about her. She's like, oh, so you're a recent cheater or something like that, and kind of alluding to the fact that like, it like. I don't see. I'm like losing the grasp. I'm losing the grasp.
Let me say the different example that I'm gonna say. So he also later was like, so you left because he lied the whole time while he was on Love Is Blind. One of the girls he dated, and they dated
before the show.
Like before the show, they dated for quite some time.
It sounded very on and off, pretty messy.
Pretty on and off, like, but then 3 months before the show started, they hooked up and they were still in contact.
Yeah.
And so he tells her, the girl he's talking to in the pod, it's a different girl. And he tells her, he's like, hey, now that I'm about to propose to you, I do think I should be honest.
After they already fought about the girl
cheating
being
thing, and he like made her out to be a villain.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I do think I should probably be honest. I dated Lydia. And then she was like, what? And he's like, yeah, but like, you're not going to let that come between us. Like, you're not going to like, like, we're not anything anymore. We just wanted to like both explore our connections and not let it affect the game.
Kind of like telling her.
And like, he was like downplaying it a lot.
Telling her how to feel about it.
How she should feel about it.
Yeah.
And then she like left feeling pretty like sad, obviously, because he had been lying the whole time.
Yeah.
And then Lydia also sick. She's crazy.
Yeah. She was being all buddy with her.
Yeah, which I think
that's weird.
Is so weird and two-faced.
Very calculated.
I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's getting enough
heat
dislike for that, because I would be furious.
Yeah.
And so then
she's like having Aaliyah tell her what they're talking about, and like,
and Aaliyah doesn't want to hear it.
No.
So Aaliyah's the one that is gonna potentially be engaged to Uche. Yeah. Lydia is the past girlfriend.
She's like, what is he like saying to you? Like, what are you guys talking about?
Lydia's like, he owns a Tesla, and Aaliyah's like, I'm not asking.
Yeah.
So then Aaliyah's obviously upset, and then Aaliyah leaves. She goes. And so then Uche finds out that she left the show and
puts on the drama.
He calls her and he's like, how could you do that? Like, why would you ever? He's like, I can't believe you let a girl come between us. And like, why wouldn't you believe anything that I said? How can you not believe me? You don't obviously care about us and like aren't willing to put in the hard work. Like, you're always just going to run away from all your problems, which like, whoa, pump the brakes, my guy. Quite literally, I've talked to you for a week. Yeah. I've never seen you. You attacked me in the pods for being a cheater when you lied to me the whole time.
Yeah.
I just don't like Uche because I feel like this is not a big theme. I shouldn't make that generalization. But I think gaslighting in that way is very common nowadays.
Yeah.
Where it's like, how could you believe that? When in reality, no, I have like a good reason to believe that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think just like making someone confused and doubting like their experience is an unfair way to go about like something.
I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think gaslighting scares me because the
scary thing is it can be so like it can be slid in there so mild
so
and like we were talking before too, like I feel like in my gaslighting, like being gaslit, I didn't realize it until I was like telling Lucy something. She's like, "You're being like he's gaslighting you," and I'm like, "Oh, like you don't even realize it sometimes," which is sneaky.
Yeah, because I think a good example is if you're like talking to someone every day, and then all of a sudden they ghost you, and then you're like, "Well, now my feelings are like hurt for being ghosted," and then they like reach out again. You're like, hey, like that hurt my feelings. And they're like, I didn't even ghost you. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then you're like,
literally,
like, I think I'm just being dramatic. Well, no, you're not.
Literally, yeah.
They just dismiss your feelings
it's
a lot.
Like,
and I think that's
not okay. had this experience where like, I was talking to someone every day. All of a sudden they're gone. Then coming back from like a ghost, it's always interesting to like hear what someone says. Yeah. I like said how I felt. I said I got my feelings hurt. And he was like, well, yeah, like I just had like a lot, like, no apology, no like validation in like what I said I felt. And he was like, yeah, I just like had a lot going on and got busy. And I was like, okay. So then I felt stupid, confused, like I just all these things. And I was like explaining it. And she's like, yeah, he's gaslighting
No, he's like totally gaslighting you. You should not feel stupid for having the feelings of like being ignored. Like, I think that's so dumb.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an example in my life. I want to say back in the day, I was like dating someone genuinely. And even now, all these years later, I'm
You're
like,
still questioning.
were we dating?
You're still questioning
because he
it.
definitely made it seem like we weren't. But like, we
Right.
were texting all the time, hanging out a lot. And then like one day he was just like, yeah, I can't do this. And I was like, oh, that's like crazy. This kind of came out of nowhere. And he was like, yeah, like we weren't really ever dating. And I was like, oh, man, that's wild. Like,
Yeah.
I could have sworn for the last like 3 months we were.
What were we doing then?
And I was like, oh, that makes me feel silly. I was
It
like, man,
does.
I feel like an idiot for thinking we did
I
date.
think-
But I think he actually did gaslight me, but I was young.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know. And so,
It's hard in this like casual culture too, because you might be doing a lot of things that say, hey, we're like,
yeah.
what are we? And some one person might be thinking one thing, but then the conversation is never had because it's so casual.
Yeah.
And then when it ends, it's like, oh, obviously you get hurt, but there's just no validation of like, yeah, I did not.
Yeah.
I did you a disservice, basically.
Now that I'm thinking about it, we weren't exclusive. So
Oh, really?
we were dating.
What?
Whatever. Gaslighting is just
Yeah.
so mean. I feel like we can gaslight. Well, I don't know if gaslighting yourself is really it, or if I just think I play the over dramatic. Like a lot of people, like you'll go through a lot of things and you'll be like, I'm just being dramatic.
Yes.
But in reality, no, you're not being dramatic.
Yeah.
So I think I gaslight myself
do that.
into thinking that I'm
I
dramatic a lot.
definitely gaslight myself. Yeah, because you're playing out the whole situation, and then you're like, I'm being. Them gaslighting you leads to like you gaslighting yourself almost into like believing what they want you to believe.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's sad too, because even if it's not related to like dating at all, but you just go through like a lot of, I would say, large events, maybe like a friendship ending, or like you being hurt by a friendship, or maybe like this big event, new job change, or like moving, anxiety, anything like that. I feel like I play that card a lot where I'm like, oh, I'm just being dramatic. Like people are going through other things.
Yeah.
And my therapist would be the first to tell me, Lucy, you're not being dramatic. You're allowed to feel like stressed and overwhelmed and like sit in those feelings. You're not actually like gaslighting. You're not being over dramatic. You just are actually experiencing those things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of a random little side tangent, but that is often how I
think
feel.
it's good if to have like people you trust, whether that's a therapist, a friend, a parent, to maybe get something out of your head, because I think gaslighting catches fire in your head.
Oh yeah.
And if you can get it out and process it with someone that you trust, that helps.
That's an easy fuse to light in your head that spirals so fast.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it'll just start bringing up every other thought that you've had about yourself and that topic, and it just goes out of control very, very fast.
Yeah.
So as soon as you give it voice and like say the thought, people around you can be like, no.
Yeah.
Like, that's a quick assumption to jump to.
That's a big jump.
Yeah. Because Uche in Love is Blind said, you always run away from your problems. How does he know?
You've known me for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
What?
You don't know that I always do that.
Yeah.
I did it once.
Yeah.
And you happen to witness it.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you can say it out loud.
That is, it loses its power, A.
Yeah.
And then B, you can have someone kind of speak to like a bird's eye view from it, like a different perspective where it doesn't seem as intense or confusing as it is in your head.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Don't give it a voice, or give it a voice and then take it away.
Yeah.
Diffuse the fire.
Diffuse it.
Diffuse the fire. Diffuse the bomb.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good analogy. It's like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
But in reality, you should just let it explode and then deal with the the scrapnel after.
Clean it up later.
Yeah.
Deal with the mess.
It's not as big of a explosion as you think it is.
Yeah, that's true. It usually isn't.
No. At least not when it comes to, like, probably self-esteem thoughts.
Yeah.
So.
Also in Love is Blind, this is kind of an another topic. The other couple that I literally can't stop thinking about.
My gosh.
Is when the guy, it's like, they're the first ones to get engaged. They're like in love. And then they meet and it's like awkward. And like, she just can't figure out. She's like, why is this awkward? And then after like, basically pulling teeth to get him to talk, he was like, yeah, I just like didn't, like you had so much makeup on when I met you.
Literally.
I was like, what?
Checked out. I would have been out the door.
You like
that's the reason you're not speaking.
You're not. He like wasn't giving anything to her, and she's just like, what is going on?
That's borderline gaslighting. He's like,
yeah.
The reason I haven't spoken to you in the last week of this honeymoon trip is because you wore too much makeup.
One time the first he just like can't get over it.
I feel like you were deceitful because of how much makeup you wore.
He's like, you can't get over like the awkward meeting, and she's like, you can't get over the one time I wore makeup.
Yeah,
like I just don't understand.
That was weird.
Ugh, I got so heated on that. I was like,
I would have lost my mind on him. I would have been like, say something. Can you put two words together? Sorry.
Put a thought together.
Put a thought together. I know you can do it. I literally would have lost my mind. I'd have been like, say anything. I will give you $20 right now
give you $20
to just speak.
It took the entire week for him to even say that. Gosh. And I'm like, maybe he didn't want to like hurt her feelings, but the delivery was bad. I would have been like, I don't know what you want from me.
I'd be like, where do we go from here?
Like, if I want to wear makeup because it makes me feel good, then I probably will wear makeup.
Yeah. I'm not about to not wear makeup because you don't want me to.
And it's also like a control thing. Like wanting her to like.
I would say major red flag. If anyone ever.
Yeah. I think it can be done in a complimentary way if someone's like, if like a guy, I think what he was trying to say, maybe he in his head was like, this is so nice. Like I'm telling her she doesn't need makeup. But the delivery was bad.
Let me live my life.
She wanted to make a good impression on you. And maybe that's your preference, like no makeup versus makeup. But like I think there's a way to deliver that in a better way. Like I
think it was his comment where he said 99% of other women would love if I told them don't want them to wear makeup.
That is gaslighting.
I was like, that is gaslighting. So there's two gaslighters in this season. So honestly, all of the guys I think in this season are gaslighters. Yeah, because then she
felt like, well, I'm crazy for wanting to wear makeup and feeling bad about you telling me I don't need like. Yeah.
It was so stupid. Anyway, they ended.
I was like, girl, I would have done the same thing. They did not last long. I would have.
I'd been like, here's your ring.
I'm out of here. He still wanted to like keep going, and I'm like,
I'm just like, how can we keep going when you don't speak? I think that's like my number one pet peeve.
Yeah.
Especially in like arguments, if you just like don't talk. I'm like, what? Like what?
You can't work through anything if you're not saying anything.
Maybe that's on me, but
yeah.
Just like, huh? Say something.
Anyways, you should watch Love is Blind so we can chat about it.
I would love to
because I just
digress more
to talk about it with everybody. I'm like, what did you think of this?
What?
Like, what are your thoughts? So I don't really think any of them will end up together, to be honest.
None of them will.
I don't think.
1,000% not. No, I don't think any of them have a fighting chance.
No. Yeah.
No.
I guess
neither of the two left.
I guess we'll see in a few weeks if our prediction is right.
Yeah. I was surprised they still had more after 7 episodes. I was like, there's 2 couples.
Yeah.
What am I following?
And they're not
great couples.
Not strong. No.
I'm like, no one's going to last. Anyway. That is kind of, I feel like we don't have a ton of pop culture.
Yeah.
For this week. Besides Taylor Swift went to another Chiefs game. So that's all I've got. Harry Styles is dating Taylor Russell.
What? I didn't hear this.
You didn't know this?
No.
He's been dating, this, I don't know if she's a model or what, but she's gorgeous.
You did bring this up a few weeks ago, and I didn't know.
I'm fine with it.
Cool. Good
Maybe that's on growth. Whoa, because at the end of the day, I was going to say this. At the end of the day, I am nothing if not a gatekeep. Harry Styles is
yours.
I'm possessive.
Yeah.
Over the things that I love. They're mine. You're not on.
Yeah.
And that's on me. That's an issue that I have to overcome. No one else is allowed to like the things that I like as much as I like them.
Yeah. Well.
And you know, that I think is on mental illness. I don't know what it is. I really need to work on it because it's pretty unpractical. Harry Styles is one of the biggest pop stars on the planet, so
it's in some ways flattering if people like what you like, because that means you're portraying it in a way that makes people attracted to it.
I think I've grown in the last few years where like people are now allowed to like what I like, but no one likes it as much as I do.
Yeah.
In my mind, no one likes Harry Styles as much as I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I only surround myself with people who affirm that.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
That's something I'll work on. Thank you. I know. It's not the best quality, but
yeah.
I'm a gatekeep. I'm very possessive about things. So it's
okay, at least you know.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Yeah. Girl boss, I don't really.
It's the parody of Live, Laugh, Love. But it's Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
I don't know if my grasp on any of them really is always super strong.
Yeah.
But I feel like
I think I'm all three.
Girl boss too hard sometimes. And I'm like, Nisha, what are you doing?
Girl boss too close to the sun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Icarus.
Yeah. So.
You flew too close to the sun.
No. A girl boss too hard, and now I have a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's scary. But
you're a girl boss. I'm a gatekeep.
Mm-hmm.
Unite.
Yes. We don't gaslight.
We don't gaslight. We put gaslighters down. That is really it for this week.
Yeah, that's it. Another week.
Try to write in some stories. I think we're gonna do a spooky story.
Oh my gosh, I've been like in the spooky thing. I'm like itching for like. I'm like the other day I was like telling my brother, tell me a scary story. I'm eating it up. So write in a scary story. Write in a scary story and we'll read it.
Yeah, we're gonna do a spooky episode this month.
Yeah. Probably the last one in October, I would assume. So
let's do it.
Yeah, if you have anything scary.
Any spooky stories.
Write it in.
Maybe not. Well, they can be spooky. You're right. I'll get over it.
Scariest.
Our email is pod.yourstruly@gmail.com. Write in a fun little spooky story.
Yeah.
Spooky story. Or other stories, and we'll still read them.
Write in anything. You can also DM us too.
Yeah. Remember to follow, like, and subscribe us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Write a
Reviews
review.
Help the podcast go further into the world.
Yeah.
Catch you later.
That's it.